this meeting to order. Shelby County Supervisors, September 5th, 2023. Because of any conflict of interest, anything on the agenda today?
None.
I'm trying to turn the thing on.
I don't know how to respond.
I should have told you earlier. On the agenda, Top Lady's not going to be able to be here today, so we'll remove that, and the rest of the agenda should be as presented. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from August 15th. Any changes or corrections?
No, sir. They're
Motion.
as published.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes of August 15th as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval of last month's claims. Any questions on that?
None.
No.
Okay, I had a couple of them with Angel. She got them taken care of. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Any department head reports here today, guys? Okay. Assessor abatement of taxes for state assessed railroad tower. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
This is a new one, ain't it?
This is a new one. I always try to come up with a new twist on things.
There you go.
So I don't know how familiar you are with the what we call state assessed, but utilities, railroads specifically are technically pipelines, for that matter, are assessed by the state based on miles and various
So they're
factors.
figured in with utility tax?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we don't value them at a local level here. And we do have one railroad communications tower here that is still in the Chicago Northwestern's name. That company's been absorbed by the Union Pacific for years now. But this had been, we had a value and then it's fully exempted out. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see in 21 it was fully exempted. But when we went to 22 there and went with the new cost manual, and which is also a new database, it just somehow that exemption fell off, and so they got a tax bill. So they shouldn't have one. It's just merely a database issue. I'm surprised we haven't seen more. This is the only thing I'm aware of so far.
So why are they exempt?
Well, they're taxed as part of their railroad miles to via the state, and so anything that goes towards the operation of the railroad track, communication towers, things that are directly involved in the operation of trains, aren't assessed locally. They report their miles within each taxing district to the state, and then the state comes up with the value, then that comes to Mark's office for values.
Shelby County sent them, correct me if I'm wrong, Shelby County sent them a tax bill and they shouldn't have got it. The state.
For this particular item, because they also get a state one.
Okay.
So they do pay taxes.
I'm sure the
This is-
state probably doesn't give us anything back though.
I think they do.
Yeah,
They do.
utilities,
So it's more or less bundled into that.
yes.
Yes.
Mileage.
I mean, they don't actually break it down. You've got 3 towers, you've got this. It's just based on X number of dollars
Okay.
per mile of track. Things that are not used directly for the operation of the railroad, such as the grain facility, the grain loading facility in Portsmouth, is on railroad-owned land, but grain bins for shipping of grain are not part of the railroad, the actual railroad trackage. So their leasee actually pays property taxes on that.
Okay.
So
Okay. Anything else?
that's it.
So
So the tax bill total on this one is $1,566.
Yep. Do I have a motion to exempt that as Tony recommends?
Motion.
I guess technically abate it.
Or abated? Okay. Abated. Motion by Charlie? Second by Bryce. Any other questions, guys? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Why don't, okay, yeah, we'll wait. Next on the agenda, building and grounds report, election report.
Yeah, well, like we noticed this morning, the air conditioner still has some minor inside repairs, not the unit outside, that's supposed to fix the problem. And we just have to reset it, sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes not at all. And it went out over the weekend, that's why it's warm in here this morning. This unit was on, but it's been plugged about 2 years since it was taken out, remodeled this room, put it back in, it jiggled things around, it's plugged. And so what I've been doing is looking at prices, and there's 3 different sizes of those units in the courthouse. And to get one of each size and replace it each year, it's about $10,000. And I proposed to them,
Who's
to
them?
Carroll Control Systems,
Okay.
who's going to be installing our new unit,
Okay,
to take these back and see if we can't flush them out.
rehab them,
Huh?
rehab them.
Yeah. And work.
We can try once.
Yeah, because we had a private guy, a plumber, whatever, come in and he flushed one. I believe it was in Tony's office. Worked great. He says, I don't want to do another one. Because when they stub these in, there's no room to cut off pipe. They got to take everything all apart. I mean, they stubbed them in with the minimal amount of part space, and some of them don't have shutoffs. Some of them. And so you got to find the next shutoff before it, and yeah. So it's just a challenge.
So they open to doing that?
Yeah, because he sent me the quotes.
So when would this happen? this winter or
Whenever we
something?
have the money. So fiscal year '25, we could start doing it. And then whoever's in charge of building and grounds, they decide which units
Okay.
to
Get a
replace
priority?
each year.
Okay.
Because there's some in the vault in here,
Right.
the fans are never on, you know, and there's places where the fans are never on, they aren't used.
Can they block them off and use the parts over here or somewhere?
Yeah, if they flushed them and everything, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
So where are we at with new replacement
The
and?
new replacement,
wires?
it's ordered. I gave them the order and they said, I was thinking when I looked at the calendar, it'd be like March before the unit would be here, which
So
would be right in
So get it
time.
in before?
They assured me that
Next
it'd be in
season.
before the cooling season.
Okay, and what about the parts to keeping us going now?
Penny, the custodian, called last week and they said the parts were in, they need to schedule
Okay, okay,
and it's the pump.
Right.
The air conditioning unit doesn't like that the pump isn't working efficiently, so it
Circulating
shuts
pump.
down because it doesn't think it's running.
Yeah, it's kind of computerized.
Yeah,
mine's not telling them hand what to do.
yeah.
Okay,
So I go down there and grease it. It seems like if I grease it, give it a good shot of grease, just a bunch of it, it'll run for a couple days. But then this duration's getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Do we have somebody that does check up on this, say every 6 months, or we don't?
Nope.
It'd probably be a good idea.
It wasn't before I started, and what happened was Camblin used to take care of it,
Yeah,
and Camblin quit in Harlan, so they don't have anybody that's capable.
right.
Isn't that in your new bid though, with the new unit?
The new unit, yes.
Will be in that one.
And then
Be a yearly inspection.
Carrier offered us a few years ago, but it was $14,000 a year.
Oh,
I know, and it was just, I'm just going, well, I don't even think you guys need to consider that at that rate.
no, but as
Just
we
time
get
and
the
materials.
new one in, it'd be a good idea to have an inspection every year.
Definitely.
Okay, do you need more? or
No,
less just
I don't need anything, I just want to let you know, also the roof inspector was here for, look for wind damage or anything, and he found nothing, that it was just water dams and 3 inches of rain all at once, and it hadn't seen it in a while, and those leaks showed up a little worse when you get that kind of a downpour for the first time in 3 years.
Has there been any repairs done on?
Yes, on the metal roof at the annex, Elevate was here and walked it with 3 employees. And then, not Elevate, I'm sorry, Maverick,
Okay,
because they're better with steel roofs and Elevate won't work with them. Then Elevate did the EMA building.
okay, did they find the problems?
They think so. It's like
Okay,
any
yeah.
roof.
Okay, so we have to see,
Yes,
okay, you know, it's been a month since it drained anyway, so,
yeah.
okay. Okay,
Where are they at on the skylight in the town center?
I don't know if they finished that or not.
They're gonna close that in, right?
Right. Put a cap over it. I'll be sure and check on that.
Anything else, guys?
No.
Okay. Supervisor committee reports. Is there anything there?
I was supposed to have a meeting last Thursday and we didn't have a quorum, so we can't.
Okay. Of course, I got pipeline IUB stuff. IUB has been having testimony from the non-intervening landowners the last 2 weeks. And they said from the beginning they were going to do all the landowners. That's why they started 2 months sooner. They were scheduled to start the IUB proceedings the end of October, 1st November, until the new board members came on, and then, lack of a better word, I'm gonna call it, they fast-tracked it up 2 months and told the landowners they would get it done before harvest. Well, harvest is here, and they got 2 weeks of landowners. They said not all of them got done, but some had to reschedule. They had some conflicts because they're only giving the schedules out on a Friday for the next week, and so people have other plans, so understand. Well, now we found out Friday, Summit's now going this week, starting today, instead of being at the end. And then the landowners and the counties and Sierra Club and them are gonna come. And I think this is wrong. Once they get Summit done, before the landowners, I think the landowners need to be on pause until the harvest is over with, because they're gonna be scheduled just a day or two ahead, and that's what this was supposed to avoid. And so I know there's gonna be some talk this week on it, and I know there's a petition out there, and yeah, it's been interesting watching this process. So, Tim wanted me to come up there this week. I told him I could not get up there today or tomorrow, but I'm gonna be up there for Thursday and Friday. He wants representation there from the 7 counties that are involved, especially hearing the testimony of Summit's witnesses, and a lot of it has to do with flume modeling, EMA, our ordinances, our setbacks, how they went about getting the routing. He says we need to be a part of that. So I plan to go up Thursday and Friday. Of course, I don't know what the schedule's going to be next week, and then I'll go back up when we start doing our county testimonies, because we're focusing in on, of course, ordinances, the authority of ordinances, setbacks, EMA, flume modeling, training with safety. And then our county's been really involved with helping the landowners with compaction studies with Iowa State, so that when construction is going on, if there's a major rain event, we have something in place so the construction company just doesn't keep going and tearing up the fields and causing major damage and compaction. And so those are the things, 4 things we're focused in on. So, any questions anybody have on that? Okay, we will move on. I'm gonna move up since Nick's here. Nick, on beaver bounty amount set for the season? Come on in. Good morning.
Morning.
And it,
Morning.
Morning. Yeah, if you guys decide to do it, it'd be, our office would be the end goal again, so they don't have to bring beaver tails up to the courthouse.
Yep.
What we were wondering about was the limits. I mean, when they bring them in, how many at once can they bring in?
Yeah, we put some limits on some things last year. Because you had people kind of coming towards the end. And
Yeah, don't save them up to the end because you don't.
First come, first serve.
Right, and try not to bring in too many at once because you might, cut somebody else out. But the way that they changed it for last year for the beaver control form, it'd have to be completed. There's a landowner signature on here. They have to be taken by legal means. That's important. You just can't go out and shoot them whenever you want. They have to be trapped, and it has to be during November 1st to the end of April, or April 15th.
In our county.
In our county, yeah, no other counties.
That's why the landowners
You can't freeze them
involved.
from last year and bring them in and stuff like that. You need to, we tried to do some, checkup on everything like that. So last year that provision was added in there, no more than 20 can be brought in at once. So you don't want to So that's on the form, and that's in bold, so that people understand that, so.
And what was the total amount?
$6,000.
Okay. Did we use it all?
No,
Not
there
last
was
year.
151 out of 240.
Okay.
Last year was probably the first year we did it.
I was gonna say.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
3 years, I looked back, and it was 3 years
$25
ago.
a piece, correct?
Yes.
Right, so we will need to change that on here, because this one still says 5,000, so I'll make that notation, send
Okay.
it back to Angel for you or something, so.
And just to give a little back history, if I remember right, Brandy, correct me if I'm wrong, this really started when Dan Ahart was here, correct? Trying to help with road structures, watershed structures, the damage the beavers have done, and I'm still surprised when I even hear from farmers, you know, they've done a real good job of trapping here, but there's still a lot of beavers out there. You know, and I'm sure you would probably still recommend we continue this.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a beneficial program for keeping tubes open and
Yep.
drainage structures.
And I've also heard from NRCS, they also are glad that we're doing this program, helps them with their watersheds and conservation issues too. So.
And at least once a year, another county calls me and wants to know how we run it. So,
Okay.
so there's interest, and it's a statewide issue.
Okay.
So the form can be downloaded off of the county's website, and then it can be brought in, and then also, when we start this, we usually leave like a drop box type thing outside, you know, in case they bring them in the evening or whatever. So there'll be like a trash can there that says, you know, leave your paperwork and your beaver tails here, so then we process them each morning.
Okay.
Keep up with those, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any suggestions or changes you would like to see?
No, I think we've kind of made our modifications on this the best we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing is where you run into a little bit of an issue is when people trap the beavers in their driveway, because you can legally do that from fence line to fence line, underneath bridges, things like that. So that makes it tough to do your due diligence on following up when you don't have a landowner signature to be required. So that can be a little tricky.
Could it be a joining landowner?
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that
good.
there's a lot about those, but there can be some.
Especially the one that's upstream. That's what it's gonna affect.
Yeah, affect them for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So we don't have a lot of those, but sometimes you run into that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
No.
Got a
Thanks,
motion
Nick.
to approve beaver bounty for another year.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, a second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Secondary roads report, Brandon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Brief update today. The bridge crew, they're finished on 2000th and Ginkgo. They might have a little bit more dirt work to do, but they should be moving today. They're moving to 800th Street east of M56 to do a bridge replacement down there. So, yeah, good job by them. They
Yeah.
got that done in, I think, 3 weeks, so.
Yeah, harvest coming early. It should make everybody smile up in that area.
It should, it should. One excavator crew, finishing up in Botna. They've been doing some culverts and stuff up there and some ditching. He's gonna continue moving south on M56 and continue ditching. The other one, he's finishing up surfacing today, and then he's gonna move to M36 north of F24. There's a culvert up there that needs replaced, and we're gonna get to that before they start on F24, so the house that's there isn't landlocked. We were gonna move to timber south of F16. There's a drop culvert. But I talked to a couple companies that do sleeve lining of culverts, because the other way out of there is dirt. And we're gonna try to get this culvert sleeve lined.
That'd be
It's
great. Did you
affordable.
find anything more out on that?
They're gonna be here this week
Okay.
to see if they can do it. Being a drop inlet, it's a little bit different, but I don't think they should have any issue with it. One of them said they could definitely do it, the other one, we'll see, and yeah, we'll go from there. But
Good.
I know the landowners weren't extremely happy to hear about a runaround potentially, and they'd rather us just rock 5/8 of a dirt road. Just
That's hard to
can't, yeah, can't justify that, so we'll see what those guys come up with and we'll go from there. But, plan is right now, picking up the bump grinder from City of Harlan today and do some bump grinding tomorrow and Wednesday, whatever needs it. I think we got it for the rest of the week, so get that done, and then next week have the Durapatcher out, get those spots Durapatched, and then whatever else needs it. I know there's some spots on 58 and 32 that need it, so get to those. The best we have, Western will be in the end of this month to start F-24. We thought they were gonna be here before Highway 59, but now it's looking like after, so we'll play that by ear and keep after them for when they're gonna start, but ideally we would have them.
The road won't be closed, will it?
No, it'll be closed to through traffic.
It'll be in the middle of harvest then.
Yeah, it'll be closed to through traffic, but, so if you're going from Irwin to Old 59, you should take the detour down to past Kirkman, but if you live on that road, you have to use it, and just look out for the construction equipment. It'll have barricades on it that say closed to through traffic, and
Okay.
just look out. They should move pretty quickly on that with the plant just being here in Harlan. So starting to wind down, pulling in roads. We might actually be done. We got shut off from our water source on Thursday, so a couple of cattle feeders wells went dry, so the water's going to the cows instead of the road, and that I completely
That's gonna
understand.
be an issue.
Yeah. And then the guys up, they're up on, with the dirt that we're ditching, we're building up some intersections up on M56. There's just some that don't really fit the road very well, so we build them up. So, if the road's here and the adjoining road does this, it's hard to do that with a semi if someone's coming and stop and then get going. So we take run down a semi length. So, and it seems to work pretty well. We've probably done 15 or 20 of them, and people seem pretty happy with them when they're done. So, and then Rock and Denison, we just finished a load. There's probably 1 or 2 loads left here before we get froze out, but we'll see what kind of winter we have. And
Piles looking okay?
yeah, they're all full.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're at sand and salt. We're stocked up on that.
Okay.
It's that time, so we're prepared. Doug's really good at getting ahead of that schedule and getting salt in the middle of summer.
You got a replacement for him?
Yep. Yeah,
Retirement.
had a replacement hired, Jason Copias, was a maintainer operator, and he accepted that position. And his position's posted in-house right now, and we'll see if there's any interest in it.
Okay.
Move forward.
Got the
with
domino
replacement. Yeah. I would assume someone in-house would put in for it, but you don't know till the end of the time. That comes up tomorrow at 3:30, so then we'll see where we are then and
Okay.
move forward, so.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Next on the list, policy number 4 for filing and payment of claims. We've been massaging this for a couple months, I think, with Marcus and Angel and Mark's office. Our main goal to start with was to get, to address the wire transfers and how that would be done. If we would ever need a wire transfer in the future, it has to get a board approval, of the board of supervisors chair, the auditor, the sheriff, treasurer, and director of our technology. And then we had a few changes with just paying our usual monthly claims to make sure they were paid on time, because we did not want to jeopardize that with some changes we made here. And so Mark and Angel have been good about with their input, and Chris Nelson, our auditor, has given its blessings, and Marcus, so I think we're ready to go forward. You guys should have gotten that. If you have any questions on that. Mark, you guys
No,
good to go?
everything's, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to add? I think I kind of summarized
In
it
essence,
there.
all it does, to me, is the way I understand it, it just severely limits, which is good, wire transfers, and when they are necessary, There's about 5 different people that need to sign off on it
Yeah.
and make sure it's okay.
A lot more checks and balances. That's good.
And like I said, it's something we rarely do anyway, so we just want to make sure there's nothing going on out there. Main one is have our technology guy involved and make sure there isn't a scam or something going on out there. So. Okay? Do I have a motion to approve policy number 4 as amended?
Motion approved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. If anybody wanted to look at it, it'll be up at Mark's office, so. Next on the agenda, resolution 2023-43, solar energy moratorium. And then right after that, we have a wind energy moratorium. And to give you a little update, last March, we put a 6-month moratorium on any wind or solar projects coming in the county. Not that, back in March we didn't, and we do not today have anybody seriously looking at doing either one. We didn't do it for that reason. It's not to stop anybody. We need to update both policies. And we didn't want somebody to come in under the radar and be grandfathered in while we're working on this. Okay? We're not being pushed to do it, but I know Tony, why don't you come up here too? Tony's reached out to a number of counties, and I've been paying attention, and I know you guys have too, on what other counties are doing, and counties that actively have wind and solar in their counties in the last 4 or 5 years, they're updating theirs some more because they're realizing things. So we're trying to get this right.
Correct.
As much as we can. Again, there's nobody pushing us, so we are taking our time, but I think between January and March of this coming year, I would like to see us have something here that we can start approving.
It's just right now our ordinance as it is adopted is essentially silent on them. It doesn't really reference them either way, and I think it's just, they weren't really contemplated when the core language was put together, because it goes back decades, a lot of the modeling. So what the zoning commission's been looking at are examples of ordinances in counties where there are successful projects.
Right.
So it's not like this is an attempt to ban them completely. It's just so everybody understands how far back from the property line. And examples that are very typical out there, like 110% of the tallest part of the tower to the tip. Some of the newer considerations that are out there are like flicker. How many hours a year, could flicker potentially be on a dwelling where the blades are spinning and there's a light source behind it and it, kind of phases in and out. So there's things that can reference that.
Setbacks are getting more.
To an extent, yeah.
Because the towers
they're getting
are getting
taller. They used to be based on so many feet, and that's
Right.
where a lot of the ordinances that have been in place for a while are running into trouble. They're building taller towers, and they're not shifting them further back from
Right.
the property line. So we're looking at a percentage of the height of the tower, or like 110% or something like that, which is what most of the newer ones are going to. Sounds like, what would be the audible sound at a residence from these as well. So,
Sound like a jet engine.
well, they can
See,
close.
I haven't
yeah.
ever been around one.
I have.
Yeah.
And you would think there was a jet engine running over there in the field. I mean, I've been around jet engines, so.
Yeah. Wow.
So the goal is to address things like that. And then solar is very new, but over in eastern Iowa, you're starting to see projects where hundreds of acres are being put under panels. And so then, there's glare an issue and various things like that. And then we're also starting to see what we call utility scale battery backup, where things that are dependent on the sun or the wind, we could capture that energy and store it and then maybe release it during the night or in a, peak hours when you need additional output. But then how do you deal with the battery storage things? Because there's usually large air conditioning units that support them and large electronic components that can make noise and so on as well. So it's all doable. We're not
Yeah.
saying these projects can't happen, but what would it look like and how would neighboring people,
Right.
have some
A lot of
protection?
moving parts. I know I heard some supervisors speak at a conference, or not speak, but just discussion. 'Cause this is always a hot topic out there. And on the solar part, they're looking, some are just talking, looking at, one of the restrictions would be CSRs above whatever. So you're not taking really productive land out of production. which I like.
Right.
Just things like that. But our county, because I've heard people say, well, how have you kept windmills out of here? We haven't kept windmills out. We have no major transmission line through our county.
And I have had conversations, it's been some years now with like Mid-American and so on, and I've been told numerous times that to this point, Shelby County has not been a good candidate for these utility scale projects because they need a transmission line close enough that they can send the power somewhere else. We're not going to be using it here.
But we could start seeing it, especially, this is just my opinion, in the southern part of the county, closer to, the pots and the casses that have them.
And as they've picked all the low-hanging fruit, then you start going
Right.
for the other fruit that's harder to get.
So we want to be prepared when that comes in. We were advised, over 6 months ago, the legal counsel, since we're working on this, to put that moratorium on while nobody is involved, so we ain't picking on anybody, so.
There's
that's
some
all it's
counties
for.
that have some major problems out
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and we're avoiding that with this.
And it can be contentious, sometimes it becomes a political issue. So again, we're not pro or against, at least that's the
No.
zoning commission's perspective. It's up to the board what you want to adopt in the long run, but
And there'll be public hearings, because we want the public involved on what's going on in this way. We have the, tell me, I lack of word right now, your commission, your board.
the zoning commission.
Zoning commission, yeah.
They met with Mark Giaccone, who's a local who has been involved for years consulting on projects like this. And he gave some perspective on what are some of the issues that, the public has with it and how do you address that and so on. So just trying to get some fair perspective from both sides.
Yeah, so I don't want anybody to get alarmed that there's something coming, because we haven't heard from anybody. So we're gonna be prepared if that day comes.
Right.
So, and it might even get amended after that, before we even have somebody, just with the changes that are coming.
It is one of those things that I think
Ever
we just don't
changing.
adopt and then leave. It's just,
Right.
The technology changes,
Evolving.
perspectives change, what needs to be done can be done.
Right, right. Okay, I appreciate that. You guys have any more questions for Tony?
No,
Does anybody have a problem with us extending this?
no.
Not at all.
Okay, so we'll do I have a motion to approve 2023-43, the solar energy moratorium for another 6 months?
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. And then we have resolution 2023-44. It's a wind energy moratorium for another 6 months.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. And then, we'll try to shoot for at least have something on our table towards the first of the year.
Yeah, we'll try to get the zoning commission to the actual language by the end of the year here.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Last fiscal sponsor for Community Foundation Grant, approval for the conservation application.
I know Nick was here, but Bryce is probably up on it, but he's gonna want us to be fiscal sponsor again for another grant that he's put in for.
You know what the grant's for?
They're painless,
Guess.
but I just want you to be aware of it. And
Do
there's-
you have any issues with it?
No,
Okay.
they've been.
I mean, it's things we do before.
The grantor
pass-through.
gets a hold of me, I fill out some papers, we bring it to the next meeting. So that way we're discussing it now. If you want to talk to Nick, go ahead and talk to him. And I know he was here before, but I just wanted to go over that with you guys. In case, I put this on here in case I received the email from the foundation and we could do it today, but we didn't. I didn't get the papers in time.
Okay.
And one more thing, talking about rental procedures for the farm rent. Do you want to talk about that or just think
Yeah, we can
about it
talk
for a
about
while?
that. Yeah, because I'm in the process right now. I work with Chad. That's who has our soil sampling. We have 1 more year left in our 4 year, and then we'll start the next 4 years to see what recommendations are. So Chad's looking through the recommendations for this coming year, getting a ballpark on fertilizer prices. They have come down some, so as soon as the crop is out, we'll want to get that applied. And then as our contract reads, the landowner will know when they go to bid on the land of what the fertilizer prices will be, and then they have to pay 1/4 of the lime for that year. I mentioned something to Mark about it. Again, I heard some supervisors visit, and actually one approached me and said, hey, I heard you guys have a, the word to use, rock solid lease program. I said, where'd you hear that from? Well, I heard it from E4 Sons, and they really like the way we handle the fertilizer, and then that you're keeping the farm up, that you're not farming the farm or mining the farm. And they wanted to do something like that. And so there was some other supervisors around and visiting, and I asked them how they go about doing it. And everybody at that table, instead of doing an auction, they take sealed bids from one to, I think one was up to 3 years. Since our soil samples is due next year, I would only be in favor right now of just doing it for a year. But I would like to see us try something different and do a sealed bid.
I agree.
And then,
We used to
because
do
the
that.
problem, you used to do that.
Yeah.
The problem we see now, people taking the time, and I had 2 calls last year, a half hour before the auction. Well, I can't make it, something unexpectedly came up. Can you bid for me, or can I submit a bid? And we don't do that, and advise not to. So people had some time to think about it. They know what the fertilizer is, they know what the contract is, to submit a bid, and then we would open them up on the day we normally do auction. That's, I would like to see that. I don't know what you guys
We'll have
think.
to talk to Brandon too about the solid waste board.
Yeah,
because
it's just for the county,
yeah.
yeah, and, yeah, with Brandon too. And so, and I'll make a note and mention it to Brandon that we're looking at doing that if they would like to do that. But I was surprised that that's what a lot of them do, and most of the ones that were discussing it that day do multi-year ones. And I think if this first year worked okay, I think it'd be something, because we already have the fertilizer determined, we could do that. But I don't feel really comfortable doing that without getting that next soil sample for 4 years done.
There's years
Yeah, you're
where
gonna win
you'll be
those.
underbid
Oh, yeah.
because farm economy's down, and you're gonna be stuck
Yeah.
for 3 years. But the next time I heard, what was it, Atlantic or Cass County, was theirs was over $500 for 3 years. And you just go, what?
Yeah, and
That's
you
crazy.
don't, we want to be fair on both ways. It's got to be a win for the county and the landowner. You don't want them not to make it work either. And so, I'd say, at least do 1 year. And we revisit that a year from now, whether we do a
2 years is a good
multi-year.
period.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the economy is going to do, neither does a farmer. So, but I would like to see us do at the end of November, like we did, we had the last meeting in November, like we have. So there's, I'll have,
That's mid-November, I believe, this year.
okay. Or do you want to do it December? I mean, I'm just,
Doesn't
I think
matter.
there's a big rush.
okay, yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
We'll do it in
Whatever.
December. Since it'd be if that's okay, you want to do a
Yeah,
bid
we can.
thing?
Yeah, we'll set
I'll
the
let you
date
try
some other
that.
time.
Okay. And then, do you want me to, or are you gonna reach out to Marcus about that? You want me to reach out to him?
About a 3-year lease versus a 1?
No, we're doing 1 year, but he has no idea that we're looking at doing a bid and how he
Oh,
wants that to be set up. I'll reach out to Marcus. Are you guys on board with that?
Yep,
Definitely
yep.
that to try. Marcus for 1 year. 1 year bid, sealed bid, and we can open it up that morning. And that would be, I can let him know.
The third Tuesday is the 21st of November, 2 days before Thanksgiving.
And personally, I don't want to do it the 5th because there's,
It's election day.
and I might, well, it'll be
December, he was saying.
Oh, December. It's right in
I
the
think
mid-range.
The 19th is the last week in December for supervisor.
Do you guys have a
November
preference?
21st work?
We've been doing, let's do it the 21st, and something changing with Marcus, for on his side, then we'll take it back.
Yeah.
Okay? November 21st.
we'll officially set that date some other time.
Okay. We need to go back to, did we take care of the, yeah, we took care of the grant, okay. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Okay, okay. Meeting adjourned, thanks everybody.